Yeah, we good. All right, we live, I guess. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Once again, we are back live in the man cave. It is Sunday night. A little different start time due to NFL situations. Want to say you're welcome to the man cave. This is your man Polk. We are the number one source for Polk County High School basketball. Tonight, before we get started, I want to say what's up to the All-State PG, All-State coach. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Long day.
Long
Yeah,
day,
man.
long
Me
day,
too.
long day, long day. So we stepping in. We're gonna jump in today, man, and talk a little bit, and then we're gonna see what happened. But are we live? Do you see? Y'all see folks in?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'm looking at it different. So, all right. Well, as we do all each week, I want to go ahead and pass to the PG. I don't know if you got anything in Tuma's take today. I know you had a lot going on in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you got anything on your dome or not. If you do, here you go.
Yeah, I just want to send a big shout out to Coach Irvin Strickland and the Tenor Rock Titans on their comeback win the other day. I kind of had Davenport beating Tenor Rock, and Coach felt like I disrespected his organization, so I want to be the man and say that hey, he proved me wrong and give him a shout out. Tenor Rock is the second best, third best team in Lakeland. That make him feel good. But he did his thing, so I ain't got that. I can't say no more words about the Rock.
It's nothing with the Rock. The Rock is what JD says. All about the coach. I know that kind of that's a tough one for you, Coach. I don't know. We gonna say it right into the coach's corner, but I know that directly relates affects you on your end of things. So I don't know if you got anything in the coach's corner or not, but if you do, here you
I
go.
do, man. What's up with Florida college football? Remember back in the heyday when Florida, Miami, and Florida State were all ranked in the top 10, and the national championship usually ran through one of them. So, what is y'all take on what's going on with Florida football right now?
They can't compete to get the best athletes because their facilities don't match the elite schools. That's number one to me. I think that's kind of why Jimbo Fisher left from what the word was. He was asking for a top of the line facility to be able to get those recruits in, and it kind of still stuck in the 90s. Well, the athletes that are the number one athletes are going to these schools that are offering very
Is
successful.
is that a financial thing? Is it that the Florida schools don't have the money that these SEC schools and these Big Ten and these big time programs, other big time programs have? Is it that we just don't have the financial ability to compete?
Is it the boosters? Is it the booster
I'm,
program?
I, because I think, I mean, if you just right off hand, it seems like Florida got just as much money booster wise as anybody else. I mean, but I'm just asking because what what is it? I mean, you go to some of these other facilities at other places, it's unreal the kind of stuff that they got for their players. And to that point, Florida State and I know Miami. Miami. I know I used to take my boys down there to the Miami camp, and they didn't have an overhead thing. So everything had the whole camp had to be outside. You know how hard it'd be in Miami in the summertime. It used to be like offensive. And you go other places and they had inside facilities, and Miami never had one. I think Miami just got one probably like a year or so ago, or 2 years ago, something like that. But it was like a long time they didn't have one. And you would think that wouldn't be a problem, Miami, if not for just the school for the alumni. The many people they end up putting in the league, you would think that wouldn't be an issue. But I mean, I agree with you about the facilities. But I guess my question is, why is it that Florida schools facilities don't match up? Because you would think the money would be there from the boosters and the alumni. So that I mean that's a good point, but what's the why is it? But it's totally I mean it's a valid point. We just I mean I switched back and forth last night between Florida State and Miami, and I'm just it was embarrassing to watch both games. But I mean they both was on, so I'm flipping back and forth, and I just like it's just it's been a long drop, a steep drop from dominance to mediocrity. Are we even mediocre right now? It might even be like I know for at least Florida State ain't mediocre. It's like are you even mediocre right now? It's like you like below average now. So it's sad to say, it's sad to see too.
Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna recover?
Because we
Can
still
we recover?
we still getting the players. I mean, right? You look at the rankings and the recruit rankings. You don't think we still getting the same caliber player? We
Yeah.
losing players now? Is that sort of thing too? You think we ain't getting the players?
Yeah. I don't think we get. I don't say we're not getting the players. I know we ain't getting the offensive line. The other
I
guys,
agree with that. We've been
I,
struggling with that down in Miami for sure.
and Florida State offensive line is pure D trash.
Yeah.
So that's
Definition of grade A.
yeah, those two schools right there ain't been getting the offensive line to be able to go in the trenches with those top notch schools. Florida has been competing.
Yeah. Florida got a big one next week. Yeah.
Well, man,
Florida seems like the one that's the most competitive of all of them. They've been most sustainable over the past couple of years, but the rest of the schools been like up and down, like a roller coaster. It's been very disappointing to see.
Vincent made a good point because not even going 10, 15, 20, but looking last year, North Carolina, Duke, those teams wasn't even in basketball wasn't even dominant teams anymore.
It's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, last year none of the Blue Bloods did any of the Blue Bloods make it to the playoffs tournament. I know Duke didn't. Carolina, Kentucky didn't. Kansas made it, but they didn't do as much. Did Carolina make it to the tournament last year? I know Duke and Kentucky didn't.
I think we got knocked out in the first round.
So Carolina made it, and then Kansas got knocked out in what, first or second round. So I mean, you figure them the four blue bloods, and they struggled last year. So I guess it's something to that. But then you look at people like Alabama, who don't never seem to fall off. So at least since Saban got there, they
Now,
never.
what is it about Alabama though? What is it that you guys think it is?
Coach, what is it about Alabama from a football coach perspective?
Man, to be honest, I think it's Nick Saban. You know what I'm saying? Nick Saban is able to get the best assistant coaches, and most of them, you look at the Nick Saban tree, most of them go off to be coaches at big schools. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one thing. Second thing is like, you know, they're getting 5-star, 4-star athletes, every year. So when you go to practice, you're not practice. Your practice squad players are going to be 4 and 5-star athletes just waiting their turn. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting the best of competition. Iron sharpens iron. So you got 4 and 5-star athletes going at it in practice every day. So it's more like a reload thing with them.
So you put it more on Saban because they continually get the players, and it's like they never like this year, even with that new quarterback they got. It's just like they just plug people in, man. They plug in coordinators, they plug in players, and they don't lose. They don't miss a beat. And it's like they continue to get those kids and those. It's just crazy how they continue to get those kids and players
Yeah.
like year after year after year.
Once he leaves or retires, I think that kryptonite is gonna hit them, and then they're gonna have to really compete like everybody else. But Nick Saban is definitely the key to what they have going on right now.
Okay, so that Nick Saban as the coach, as the figurehead, we know he's more than the figurehead, but as the
Yeah,
figurehead, drives the bus.
I I think so.
Okay. So kind of segueing into like we're gonna kind of recap high school football when we say we do that every week from last week. Just talk about some. We just gonna talk about scores. Just list the scores from last week. Um, Lakeland beat Lake Wells 41-14. Arbondale beat Kathleen 34-26. Gibson beat Winter Haven 27-14. Tenor Rock beat Davenport 35-34. Bartow beat Sebring 20-13. Uh, Celebration beat Lake Region 48. Jenkins beat Lake Weir 27-13. Umatilla beat Discovery 20-19. Ridge beat Victory 26-20. Lakeland Christian beat Cambridge 45-13. Frostproof didn't play. They stopped Mulberry game because of weather. And Hardy beat Haines City pretty good. I didn't get the final score of that one. So in that same mindset, it's pretty agreed upon that Cal's the best football coach, right, around here. We don't. It's not a. Is there? Well, let me ask: is there a discussion or a disagreement or opposition to that statement that Cal's the best coach?
No, ever.
Okay,
He the best coach ever.
so Cal's the best coach ever. So does that kind of go right in line with Lakeland High School because not putting Cal on the level of Saban, but from a high school perspective,
You're saving in high school in Polk County.
he's been doing it for 50 years, and Lakeland is always because they look very impressive against Lake Wells on Friday, and so is that. And then if we look at facilities, Lakeland probably got the best facilities for football in the county, right? I mean, if not the best, it's a debate as to who has better football facilities than Lakeland in the county.
Only person that can compete with that is probably Lakeland Christian, as far as facility wise.
And their coach is alumni from Lakeland who was coached by Kelsey. Which I mean, but so it goes in line. So we kind of echoing the point, I guess, that facilities matter. Are we saying that? Are we saying that facilities matter? Because now we got two new schools. We got Mulberry, we got Davenport. They got top notch scoop fields, about to have top notch facilities. So do you lose a step if your facilities are not on the level at the high school level?
No, nah. You just lose the spirit. Lakeland just got the Lakeland pulling because of tradition over the others. I think it's gonna be a turnaround with them in the next 2 to 3 years.
I think the pull to Lakeland is the people that they are able to get in school. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants to play at the next level, and Lakeland is one of those teams that put a lot of people in college, along
This
with
this a big year.
Kathleen.
This is a big year for Lakeland because football. It seems like football in Lakeland is gonna take a short window that you ain't got that dominant. That you won't have a dominant athlete in the next 3 years. Like later, right now, you can't. Who's the star player of Lakeland? They've
Yeah,
had they've had those highlight type of players, and they ain't got that. They ain't had that in the last 2 or 3 years, right? Bowman 2 years out now, right?
right.
Yeah, so they're going on 2 or 3 years without a standout player. That's a long time for Lakeland.
Well, they
It ain't.
do have that D lineman.
I mean, they got
That's
the best player this year is D line. He's not a skill guy, but
yeah.
They
he
got
That's not a sexy position. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to get all the pub in the paper because they don't score touchdowns or
yeah,
electric player. But
that's what I'm saying. Like the skill guy is the one that kind of brings the attraction. That kid a
yeah,
monster. The skill,
Black Wayne Peace was the head coach before Danny Williams. He's the one that got all that stuff, all the facilities that Danny Williams just benefited from it. So when I say the coach came from Lakeland, Wayne Peace is the one that is the reason why those facilities look like that at Lakeland Christian, and he played quarterback at Lakeland and at Florida. Danny Williams kind of just came in and kind of is reaping the benefits of it. That's I guess that's my point. I should say not the current coach. He gave him the reins, but Wayne Peace put all that together. And yeah, Coach Casanova, yeah, we understand that like Lakeland's best player now is a defensive lineman, and he's very good. He's like top 5 in the entire nation. But I just think it's something to it. Like Lakeland got 100 different uniforms. I mean, in Oregon or Polk County, you never wear the same thing twice. It's just I guess facilities and coaching goes into it. So I mean, are we surprised? It's like we always kind of they're always in the conversation, and as we kind of transition to basketball, if we would ask that question, and it's going to be one of the things we do with the preseason special is who has the best facilities for basketball in Polk County, and does that translate on the court with the program? I mean, does any do we can we say a school has good facilities, and when you think about it, as it relates to basketball in Polk County?
I don't
I
know.
say no.
I say
I say
Baltimore.
we behind.
I
If you
think
look
we're
at
way,
the neighboring
I
counties,
think we're way behind with facilities for basketball. Way behind.
even with me being at a new school at Davenport, you know what I'm saying? At some point, somebody got to set the precedent. Like, why don't we have an auxiliary gym in nobody gym in Polk County? You know what I'm saying? I know they got to notice when we go out of town, somebody has an auxiliary gym, that you can, where all your kids don't have to practice late. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes girls have to practice late. You put them in a position getting home late. Boys also, it gives you a chance for. I mean, rest is just as important as working out. You know what I'm saying? Sleep is just as important. Recovery time. Tuma said that, a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? But like I think an auxiliary gym where kids can go and get individual workouts while somebody's using the main gym. I think we're way behind for as facilities go, and we're going to continue to be behind until somebody, really put their foot down.
Why do you feel like okay, we are behind and we agree with that? Why do you feel like when you make that statement, why do you feel like it's going to continue to happen? Like there's a new field at Mulberry, there's new facilities at Davenport, which obviously everything is brand new at Davenport. But why do you think that that's not an issue of concern, importance, priority, whatever the reason, whatever the right word is, for basketball facilities in Polk County?
I don't think they're actually using resources or talking to actual coaches and people that deal with athletics on a regular basis. They're just basically, you know, taking the recommendation from the contractors about, we did this school, we did that school, and what's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? When the gym burnt down at Lake Wells, we tried to convince them to get an auxiliary gym in Lake Wells. It was going to be like a couple $100,000 more to get that auxiliary gym. We had the space to do it and everything. And their answer was to us is that nobody else has it in the county. At some point, somebody got to be the first.
Somebody got to start in order for it to
Hmm
become a thing.
What county has it?
I do know for sure that Charlotte County has it. When we used to play in the Wally Keller over at Charlotte High School, they had both gyms going at the same time. Um, Definitely down in Fort Myers, that area. Um, their gyms have auxiliary gyms. Everybody in Georgia seems like they have auxiliary gyms. It's crazy. When you we played at McEachern, we wasn't even in the main gym, and that court it had like three courts in there, and the main gym had like two or three in there.
Mm.
It just always seems like we are behind in Polk County. Be it football, although like I say, Lakeland Christian, they kind of. But even if you look at all the stuff that Lakeland Christian got, if you leave and go to like Georgia, South Georgia, you go to Texas, they don't even match up with. And we think that they got a lot of stuff. We think they in great shape with their facilities. But you go other places and you do a comparison, bro. We still way behind. We still like
Mhm.
way behind. Like I said, I don't know if that's a financial thing where we just don't have the money to put into it. But I just know as far as basketball goes, I know Bartow has put some money into redoing their gym, their bleachers, and then they also got like a locker room for the kids that looks like a legitimate locker room. Um, but it's like a lot of schools don't even have like legitimate like locker rooms. They still use, in some cases, the school locker room as their locker room. So that it's just if we always if to your point, bro, if our facilities don't match up, it's going to be very hard for us to continually compete. I guess I don't know if that's the right way to frame it, but I think that's important. That we got to have stuff to match up with the people that we are matching up against. If that makes sense.
You gotta imagine, Barnes. We fighting for gym space. Like during this time to have like individual workouts or open gym. Volleyball gonna have first dibs because they're in season. So what I supposed to do or where I supposed to go to have my open gyms or my individual workouts or where kids can get up shots? What I supposed to do with them? We gotta basically adjust to the volleyball schedule if we can get in there at all.
And that goes back to your point about the auxiliary gym. Then, if you had auxiliary gym, you would have to be fighting for space. It just makes sense, but it's amazing that the sense takes so long to be understood. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
and it
And we
may.
don't said it before, man. They gotta really go back and look at coaching stipends. Everybody else around us is making double on what these people are making here, and it's just totally unfair. You got McGriff, um, back-to-back state champion. He got 4 state titles. Castle got so many state titles, but his coaching stipend from the county, has not changed since the '90s. You know what I'm
And,
saying? Like,
and they ain't gonna change, and they have no interest in changing these. That's the point. That's the sad thing. You doing all that work, putting all that time into these kids, and they don't see that that's something that is an issue or a concern. It's just it's sad. It's very very sad. Very sad. All right. So do y'all want to do the this week picks now or later for football? Do it
Okay,
now to the end.
you can now.
All right. So this week I'm just a couple games. Not gonna do all of them. Just a couple games. What y'all think on them?
No
All right.
garbage. No garbage. No onion game.
No, all right. Man, that game ended up being an instant classic, man. You can't call that game onion. That thing ended up being very nice, man. All right. So first one, the big one this week, Lakeland, Lake Gibson
where is it?
at Lake Gibson.
I take the Dreadnoughts. You know what I'm saying? Lake Gibson gonna have to prove they can win a big game, and they have. I think they have just as much talent, but
Against taking the dreadnoughts.
yeah. But it's a mental block there where they can't beat them.
Physically speaking, Lake Gibson has just as much, if not more, talent than Lakeland. Physically speaking, but mentally speaking, which is what coach is talking about, on a mental level, it just seems like Lakeland mentally, their kids are on a different mental level than the Lake Gibson kids, and it's crazy. But to both of you all's credit, that's what I think will be good enough. And I don't pick Lake Gibson to Lakeland because my son played with Lake Gibson, so I kind of abstain from picking against Lake Gibson games or Kathleen games. But so I just speak on them, but I don't pick them. But Lakeland is very seems to be more mentally locked in than Lake Gibson. But Lake Gibson,
4 quarters.
but Lake Gibson can score. They got athletes and they can play. So it's like it's there. It's just a matter of are they going where they put it all together, you know. But I think it should be a pretty good one though. Should be a pretty good one. All right. Winter Haven at Ridge.
Ain't both of them trash?
that, that's what I was. I
Is that
was.
is that an onion bowl? All right, we won't pick that. Y'all think that's an onion game. All right.
Oh, I,
George,
y'all,
George Jenkins at Kathleen. Jenkins undefeated. Kathleen not. It's a city game, rivalry game. So I figure that's not an onion game. So Jenkins at Kathleen.
Ain't this an onion bowl too?
Jenkins undefeated. So they can't be an onion bowl. They 3-0.
Who have they beaten? Who they beat? Mulberry.
They went on the road this week
Oh,
and beat. I don't know about Lake Weir, but they beat Lake Weir in Ocala this week. So I mean, they 3-0. As Coach Hen said, they're the second best team in Lakeland, and that means something, in Lakeland. When you got Victory and Lakeland Christian and Lake Gibson to be the second best team, that's saying something.
Oh man, Kathleen played good this past weekend too. I want Kathleen.
I, I
This,
went to them.
if Kathleen don't win this game, they might not win the game this season.
I agree with you.
So I'm going Kathleen.
I
They
agree
might
with
be.
you.
They might really be the onion with the over. So I'm going Kathleen.
I go with Kathleen in the upset.
Okay.
It's,
All
a,
right.
it's an upset.
This an
Well,
upset, bro. That's bad, ain't it?
That's,
Jenkins 3-0, Kathleen 0-3. So I guess it would be an upset. I guess.
no, I think the picks will have Kathleen winning though. I think everybody have Kathleen winning.
So no, you saying people don't believe in Jenkins?
Now the upset was Tenor Rock beating Davenport. Everybody picked Davenport.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
true.
was an upset.
All right, what Heritage at Arvindale? This is a district game, and I know y'all probably don't know about Heritage, but Arvindale undefeated. So I mean,
I was
I'm
just
going with the
beat
county.
Kathleen, man. They barely beat Kathleen.
Yeah, but it was up. I want to say like 20-0 or 21-0 on Kathleen, and Kathleen made it interesting. But I'm still go with the county though.
yeah, I like Tank. I like Jared Johnson. He played. That's the kid too that you say guarded Walt. He played. He pretty good at football too.
Yeah, I'm around Auburn there. I just probably they struggled against
And they
Kathleen.
look like the boy from the quarterback Tanner. Like he done got his discovery mojo back. You remember discovery? He was real good throwing the ball. And last year it was a struggle for him. So like these first couple of games, he done kind of got that discovery Tanner back as opposed to that Arbondale Tanner from last year. So for that reason, I like Arbondale too. All right, last one. Victory at Bartow.
Bartow.
I like Bartow.
You don't think Victory got a shot at all?
No.
After losing the Ridge this week, no.
Yeah, this ain't the old Victor.
Man, Bartow beat Ridge like 50-0 or something like that. It was crazy.
Okay, so that ain't even close.
Back to the Kathleen game, man. Who they play? Man, they gotta win. Kathleen gotta win, man. They almost,
Kathleen lost. They lost to Zephyr Hills 16-12. They lost to Tampa Catholic 9-0, and they lost to Arbondale Friday 34-26.
Kathleen gonna win by 10.
So they've been in every game.
They gonna
They've
win
been
by
in every
10.
game. You got to take Kathleen by 10.
Yeah, I got a question for y'all on that, dog. This is an interesting question, right? That this is now I ain't saying it's true or not, I'm just going based off of rumors, so I'm gonna throw it out. The ability if you coaching, because you coach more recent than all on everybody. If a kid is good enough to say if you had a kid that was the two guard, like he played the two guard position, but your lineup was he was the biggest kid. And he would be the center for you then, but he was getting recruited as a two guard. Where do you play him at?
Defensively, he's probably gonna have to play whoever their big is defensively. But offensively, I'm putting in a system that's gonna put him on a perimeter so he can be efficient. You know what I'm saying? Shooting the basketball, taking people off the dribble. Because if their biggest kid have to guard him, that's gonna be a mismatch that we're gonna have to exploit. And bringing that person or that matchup out on the perimeter, you know what I'm saying? That's what I would do. That's an advantage for me. But you still got to play that kid at his skill set.
Well, I asked that question because Vince Carter had to play center in high school, and he was the number one shooting guard in the country.
Bro, he had to defend defensively against everybody but I remember watching them play, bro. He played on the perimeter quite a lot too.
He played center, bro. He played the center for them.
He did, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But he was
I,
able.
I asked that question because if you, for example, why is the quarterback with Kathleen not playing the quarterback position?
I heard they moved him back. I heard they
Oh,
went back to the spread.
okay.
So does just because are you saying because you're the biggest player on the team, for basketball perspective, you automatically assume that you got to go play on the block?
No, you play what's best for the team to win. So if Shadarian has been the quarterback at that position and he's the best for it, out, and I guess he didn't want to play quarterback.
No, they changed systems. They went to that Apaka type system where it wasn't a true quarterback and it was like that direct snap stuff.
That's why I say it might not be true. I just heard he didn't want to play quarterback, so they moved into that system.
Yeah,
So
So,
did you hear that too, Barnes?
I heard that too. I heard that too that they do the direct
I
stuff.
was kind of like I was leaning to like when the kids decide what's best for them instead of what's best for the program.
yeah,
Well, I mean, the kids gonna always have their opinion on what they think is best. It becomes on us as the grown up coaches to make sure that they're in the best position for the team because they're gonna always kind of think about them, like you said. I mean, they're gonna think about this is what I want to do, and what they want to do. They're gonna think is best for the team when they kids. So it's on us to guide them.
Because kids get recruited, they gonna get recruited by what the college thinks they are anyway. So like if you play quarterback in high school, then you just an athlete who can just run, and you
mm,
running in that a system like an option. What most of them recruit you as an athlete, right?
yeah.
So when you
That
go,
happened with the Lakeland quarterback, like back in the day when the kid played quarterback for Lakeland, but he went to Florida State and played receiver.
yeah. So my thing is like I just and just
Yeah, they're gonna put you. They're gonna put you where they want to put you at.
what they want to put you at. But like just for any of them, it was interesting to see that you start hearing the rumors and stuff about like kid didn't want to play quarterback because he wanted to go to school to be a cornerback, and it's like what's best for the team compared to what you do for like your 7-on-7 at camp will showcase your talent. But what's best for this team to win, you got to play this position. Like a kid's not going to determine what's best for.
Yeah,
It's about the program. So that's what I'm
I
asking.
agree with that.
You a lot of kids. If you had a kid that was a two guard, but technically like a bench Carter that had to play the five for you, do you not play him at the five and put another kid at the five so he plays the two because he's the number one two guard in the country? Or do you do like Daytona Maiden and you put him at the five because that was what was best for the team? It was like who decides? Who decides?
I was about to say how and who. How do you decide what's best for the team, and who decides what's best for the team?
You got to be the head coach.
You gotta be the coach.
Is it just cut and dry? It's the coach that
Got to be because
decides who is.
when you start allowing kids and parents to decide that, you giving up your power.
You
You know
giving
what I'm
up.
saying? Like you giving up all the respect you're gonna have for the rest of the kids.
I
And
lose the
then
kid let that happen.
yeah, if you open up the door for that kid, you're gonna open up that door for the rest of the kids that come in your program.
Because with travel ball, and we talked about this a little bit off the air without mentioning travel ball teams. There are some travel ball teams that are parent driven. There are some travel ball teams that are coach driven. So which you understand which is I guess which is right. I mean, which is who decides how things look and how things should move. I mean, and so to that point, does the coach decide how and when? Like with us back in the day, when we had Richie at Lakeland. Richie was the biggest kid we had. Richie was 6'8", but Richie didn't play on the block for us. Richie played on the wing for us. But the logic was to go get on the block. Back in the day when Bartow had Ladarian was the biggest player on their team one of them years. Then they had Bird the other year. But Darren didn't play on the block, but Darren played on the wing. He was a big time wing player. So it's like, do you automatically stick a kid on the block because they're the biggest thing on the floor? Is that, you know what I'm saying? That's not. I've never been there. I think you go with the kid's skill set. You can't punish a kid because they the biggest kid if they got the skill set to play the wing, and that's the best for them and the best for the team. Just because they the biggest kid. But I do remember we put Richard on the biggest kid when we played the Henson kid that ended up going to Carolina in the playoffs. We played Tampa Circles, and they had the John Henson kid because we just wanted to make sure we put a body on him. But that was like every night Richard was going on the block and he was the five. He never played the five. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you said, I guess, but that was what we thought. But like to brother Tuma's point, there's a lot of people say, all right, you the biggest player, you automatically on the block. Period. You're a position, even though that's not your best skill set, that's not what you do the best, but that's where you're going. That's just it. So that
Let's
just
address what Sear said. He said unless the parent is LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? And you see all the videos of LeBron James coaching, like from the sideline and whatever. What if he telling them something different than what the coach is actually telling? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the parent. Like, how would you handle that as a coach, Barnes? LeBron James is on the opposite side coaching the kids also. Would you address LeBron James? Yes or no?
I would. I would. I'm in a. I would address him because I at least need him to understand whether he agrees with it or not. I need him to understand what the philosophy is and what we're doing and why we're doing it. And you may not agree with it because you feel like you feel different than how I feel, and that's fine. I can't. My job is not to get you to feel and think how I think. Your job is my job is to get you to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, not agree with it, but understand it. This is what I'm doing. This is why, and so I would have to address that with him, no matter who he is, LeBron or whoever, LeBron or Shabron, he a parent, and if he telling the kids something different than what I'm telling them, then we gotta have a conversation. We had a parent at Lakeland. Once again, I won't say the parent name or the kid name that used to be in the stands, and it becomes very distracting to a kid because if your dad in the stands and he yelling at you to do something, he your dad first, so you can't ignore your dad. You gotta you're gonna some type of body language, whether you kind of flinch, whether you kind of look, whatever, you're going to acknowledge that your dad is telling you something. And if it's different from what we saying, that becomes an issue. So we had to have a conversation with the dad. Like, look, now we're going to coach your child. We're going to coach him hard. We're going to do what's best for him. But we can't have you over here saying what's, different, going against what we're saying, because it defeats the whole purpose. We had to tell the kid, I know it's hard for you to tune your dad out, but as it relates to basketball, we the coaches, and the dad kind of got better with it. He still would go back and forth, but he got better with it. He kind of understood and he respected the fact that we kind of came to him as coaches, as men, and kind of spoke to him on it. But that's a tough one there when the dad got his mind made up that he know more than you. He know what's best for his child, and no matter what you say, if it don't line up exactly with what he got, then it's going to be an issue. So that would be a tough one, but you just got to have the conversation. I think you got to have the conversation just so he at least know where you're coming from. Whether he agree with it or not, you can't control that.
I mean, if it's LeBron James, I would invite him to the bench. Like, hey, bro, you can be a part of the coaching staff in order to get that point across. You know what I'm saying? But if not, I kind of need you to step back a little bit.
Let us coach.
And let us coach.
Yeah.
I mean, because the thing is, if it's a parent that comes in the gym on the field, if it relates to football, and they just come and they like this and they just watch, that's one thing. But if it's a parent that's vocal in the gym, you can't ignore. Like I said, at the end of the day, that's your dad. You can't ignore your dad telling you to do something. You can't ignore your mom telling you to do something. Those are your people. Those are your parents. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't say, They said, "Hey, what you doing? You ain't you're going to respond to that as a child. That's your parent." So for me, I think it's important that you let the parent know, "Hey, man, I'm not trying to step on your toes as a parent. I'm not trying to tell you how to raise your child. Or I'm just telling you what we're trying to do and what it's doing to him and it's doing to the program with what you're doing." And I just think you got to. We had to have that conversation with that parent a couple times before he kind of backed off a little bit. So I don't think it's a one time, especially if it's one of them parents that's like real, like aggressive with it. I don't think it's going to be a one time conversation that's it's going to take. It's going to take a couple conversations. You just got to be able to be willing to have them for the good of the kid, first of all, so he ain't getting pulled in two or three different directions, and then for the good of your team. That's my take on it. That's my take on it. It don't to me. It don't matter who you are as a parent. You gotta respect what I'm doing over here as a coach. Also, it go both ways. You can be the greatest player in America, in the world, which LeBron is, but at the end of the day, I'm still coaching your child, so you gotta respect what I'm saying. You sent your child. You brought your child over here. Now I ain't come to get your child. You brought him to Sierra Canyon, or whatever school he go to, or whatever AAU circuit he's going to. So it go both ways on it. You know what I'm saying? That would be me.
Yeah.
That would be me. But I get it. I get it's not a simple, um, not a simple situation. Like I said, for me, it wouldn't matter whether it was LeBron or Mikey Williams' dad or whoever on the team. If they're doing that, we would have Dwayne Wade. I mean, I can't LeBron get the pub because he LeBron James, but I guarantee he ain't the only coach. He ain't the only parent that's cutting up like that. He just get the camera on him because of who he is. So you got to have that conversation with any parent, whether they got the camera on them or not, for the good of the team and what we trying to get done. That's my take on it. So, all right. So this weekend, a couple little chalk talk real quick. This weekend, first of all, shout out to Tyler Williams. I didn't do this again the show. Shout out Tyler Williams. He got since the last time we've been on, picked up 4 offers. They're football offers, but they still offers. So see a basketball kid. We show love to whatever offer a kid get. Picked up USF, FIU, Georgia Tech, and Temple in football. So shout out 23 Tyler Williams from Lakeland High School.
Did they get West Virginia too?
He got West Virginia. Okay, I didn't see that. So West
That
Virginia.
was a West Virginia offer too.
Okay. So shout out to Tyler on his offer. So this weekend, the guru, the defensive guru for the county, for the Southern United States, for whatever you want to say, was in town. Gordon Gibbons doing one of his defensive clinics at Victory. Also this weekend, Bartow had a shootout type deal where they had some teams come in, some good teams from out the county, played a couple teams inside the county, got some good work in, and we know that it's recruiting season. So we know that schools have been stopping by. We know that Southwest Florida, Atlanta stopped by to check out KJ at Bartow. Dayton and Florida stopped by Winter Haven to check out Dylan over at Winter Haven. And so, question to you all on the Gibbons talk, Gibbons train of talk. How long does it take to teach an effective and a successful man-to-man defense? How long does it take to teach an effective and successful? Because man-to-man defense.
The entire offseason.
Right, it's right along with Gibbons because that's what he do. So right along with Coach Gibbons.
And the entire offseason.
At least an entire offseason. What Gordon Gibbons come in and do? He gives you the blueprint. He gives you the tools, but it's up to you to continue that and continue to rep that and emphasize the things that he implemented. If you don't continue to echo those things, you will lose it. But like Toomer said, he said an entire off season. I say an entire off season and the regular season to be effective man to man, and you just build on it from year to year after that.
It's gonna take a year. I just think it's so much discipline of time that you have to put into it on a daily practice. So that's like something that once you understand the concept that you're going to teach it with man to man, then what you should go through the off season. It comes to when you're in preseason through the season, your structure of planning is like every day. Like you have to spend 30 to an hour on defense on those principles. You know what I'm saying?
I know when I was at Kathleen, Coach Jones said that when we played, he said to teach good man-to-man defense takes an entire season because you got to continually visit it. You got to continually visit different parts of it, and you got to continually build on it, and then you got to continually review it, and not just assume that the kids got it because they got it. If that makes sense. They got it in week 3. You can't assume that they got it in week 3 that they got it. You got to continually revisit. So for him, he said that he in his mind, you take it takes the whole season, and then by the district, you ought to be ready to go. So for him, that was his thing on it. He his mindset was it took the whole regular season to teach an effective man-to-man defense.
You know what I think that you can understand that things are working when you drill it so much to the kids look at it like, oh, it's another day of it. And it's like they're like, oh my gosh. But then when you teaching it, when they make those errors that you know they shouldn't make, you can explain that, and that gives them an understanding that you haven't gotten where you need to be at, and that's why you need to keep drilling over and over and over again. Because kids, they get frustrated, like, then we doing defense again. What about offense? But then it'll take for you to see that one mistake that you can just like, okay, this is why we're doing this. Um, and then you get to the point where you can understand the learning process of it. It to me, it's I was being nice by saying the entire off season, but I'm with y'all. It might take a whole entire season. This depends on how much you drill it on a day to day basis. Because you got some coaches that their whole focus on one practice could be offense. Monday would be offense, Tuesday would be defense. Then you got some that say I'm gonna spend this much time on offense, this much time on defense. And if I got an offensive practice, I'm still spending this much time on defense. You know?
Yeah, that's how I was.
Yeah.
We just had to rep it. I feel that you can rep it so much it becomes a conditioned response to kids instead of them thinking. Now they can react with instinct. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we drilled it so much, especially early in my the early years when we was just a 500 team. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? You said 30 minutes. Somebody said 30 minutes to an hour. We was more like an hour and a half. Sometimes 2 hours just drilling defense. You know what I'm saying? But as we built on it from year to year, I was able to cut that time. You know what I'm saying? Then once I had my playoffs teams, we really just worked on shooting and conditioning, and we didn't have to do defense as much.
And to Coach Tyler's point, that was my segue as it relates to now. Do you think, as a whole, countywide, we're teaching good man-to-man defense as a county? Because back in the day, whether it was Haines City, Lake Wells, Kathleen, Arbondale, Winter Haven, you knew when you went to go play somebody, you were going to have to work to score because people guarded the ball so well. Jenkins, I mean, people guarded the ball. People took pride in stopping you. They didn't care about scoring. Bartow, I want to make sure so it was multiple teams that you. So do you all think, as a county, that good man-to-man defense is being taught now?
No, I don't
No,
think they're
If
talking.
not, why not?
One
because
thing I
people
know,
don't want to sacrifice that time to put it in and
yeah,
rep it.
and not only that, you don't have a defense, you don't have a Gordon Gibbons defensive camp, where it's probably just strictly you a week of you do at a basketball camp for a week, and all you can play is man to man. You wake up at 7 in the morning, and you get taught. The kids get taught the principles of man to man defense, and then they have to apply those principles that they be taught throughout the entire day for a whole entire week, and then the whole entire summer. Basketball has changed. I think now people always based on the talent they have. Like, oh, I got 2 16s, so I got 2 6 8s. These kids can't defend the same way the old kids, which I think is crazy. But I just think that coaches now don't take pride in that. And I don't want no coach to say we knocking what they doing, but I don't see a focus from every coach on how Polk County used to be. Like we're gonna play man to man and get up in you. And which is crazy now because they don't even play each other on a consistent basis. So you don't even got all of them lining up against each other back then when they used to.
Okay. But Coach Billy D, I know you are a defensive coach, but I know you with girls right now. But I mean, you're a defensive coach. Period. Do you feel like it's not being taught? Do you think it's to Coach Sessions' to point? Do you think it's the fault of travel ball that all travel ball people play? I mean, I know you don't, but travel ball people play zone, and so by the time they get back to y'all in high school, they haven't learned any man to man principle. So now you kind of playing catch up and playing from scratch. Do you think all that works together?
I disagree with that
Yeah, I,
to a point because who are those kids with majority of the time? Travel ball, you might practice once a week,
yeah.
or you might practice when you get them on the weekend before you play the game. But who do those kids spend majority of the time with? Is with their high school coach. It's their high school coach that's having open gyms and individual workouts. So my thing is, what are you doing with your time? You know what I'm saying? So if they do go to their travel ball team and they, practice zone and whatever, the fundamentals of playing man to man, still should be in them. So it shouldn't be a huge learning curve or setback when they come back to you.
And even with that, the kids, I mean, to me, like Billy said, the practice time is not enough time for them to come back, and you should have more time with your school. But I think now the kids just lack the understanding of organized basketball, and I think that's the problem compared to blaming on the AAU travel ball. It's like they just don't have the understanding of organized basketball because that's the basketball IQ of the game from these kids nowadays is missing because they're more focused on the individual skill of certain drills that they do offensively. They'll rather have that work than to understand how the organized game works. And that's why you see so much struggle as they continue to progress to the next level. And if you got to understand, and that's the key to defense to me. If if you have an understanding of the organized basketball game, it makes it easier to be a great defender. Um, and easier to learn how to be a great defender in a man-to-man system. Because if you know the parts of being organized and how that's ran, it's an instinct to jump to the ball after you've been taught that. It's an instinct to let somebody through after you jump the ball. Once you jump the ball, you open up to let somebody. These things ain't something that you have to. If you know the understanding of the organized game, it becomes like a simple mindset. The ball you man.
How much time do you put in practice daily for man to man defense? And your pro, when you building your practice schedule daily, how much time you give to man to man
Defense
defense?
is priority number one for me. So I will spend an hour each practice on defense. If I got a 3 hour practice, I'm definitely gonna do an hour just on the principles of man to man. That's off rip. That ain't kind of defense a day. I'm gonna get an hour out you every single day.
Coach,
I agree with Tuma. Even in travel ball, man, we especially early, we had to dedicate a whole bunch of time to man. Well, we probably spent an hour and a half or so because we had to teach them how to play. It, whether you gonna play man or not, it's still a responsibility to teach the kids how to defend. So we made sure we taught every kid, how to be an on the ball defender. You know what I'm saying? Then we built upon that being how to play help side, how to play help side in the full court, how to play help side in the in the half court, talking and communicating. Like Tuma say, jumping to the ball, positioning, know where you're supposed to be, know what your responsibility is, and that takes time. It takes reps.
But even
Whether you
even with that, coach, not to cut you off, but everything you saying, jump to the ball. You teach it all of them, right? But how important is it to understand the game of organized basketball? Because one person can do that great, and the other five don't understand that part of the game. It's like learning plays. It's like
yes,
running motion. You can run motion
because
all day. You can be the
if it's
greatest.
one person that
Yeah, you can be
that
the
doesn't know what they're doing, so a
greatest.
breakdown in the defense, it opens you up.
Yeah,
So it's important for everybody to be on the same page and get those concepts.
they gotta understand those concepts. You can drill motion to the greatest basketball players in the world, and they can pass and screen away. But if they don't set that screen, how does it help under? How does it help the game? In organized, you can pass the screen. You supposed to set the screen when you screen away, right? It's pass, screen away, and set a screen for the next. How many kids y'all know nowadays, or even when we was playing, that when they pass and screen away, they just move. They don't even try to set a screen.
Yeah, it's more of an exchange.
It's
You know what
more
I'm
of a
saying?
challenge.
And
So
and what I try to tell my kids is like be unselfish. You know what I'm saying? Sacrifice yourself to get your teammate open. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I try to sell to my kids, and I try to celebrate because those are things that are not celebrated. In the stat sheet, the person that set the screen to get your teammate open. You know what I'm saying? So it's important for me as a coach to tell them, way to be unselfish to set the screen to get your teammate open. Even though your teammate gonna get most of the credit for getting the basket or the person that made the pass, but nobody really celebrates the person that sets the screen. You know what I'm saying? So those little things you gotta celebrate with
Good
your
point.
kids.
how often would you stop practice if I didn't jump to the ball and open up to let my man come through? Or would you continue to let me not make that mistake and then someone else gets the stupid foul because of a mistake I made that
Gotta
caused
correct it right away. Gotta
right away?
correct it
So to me,
right away.
again, I ain't been to nobody practices, but from Coach Collins' point of like, it's not being taught. Yeah, we don't see man to man being taught by everyone. You might have one team that I noticed that plays strictly man to man. How many of them you think wants to have the patience to say, "Oh, you ain't jump to the ball, you be their best player. You ain't jump to the ball, you let the man through. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. And when you continue to mess up, we're gonna have to drill you and we're gonna have to punish because y'all ain't doing the key things that need to be done."
So how important? I saw this one time where Jim Boeheim said in preseason he plays all man to man defense, but you all know Jim Boeheim is the best zone coach in America. But he always said he taught man principles in his zone. So when they started playing zone, when the regular season started, it wasn't a hard transition. So how hard is it to teach man principles in zone?
I don't know how to
It's
play
not
zone.
hard.
I don't know how to play zone. Period. I never played on a team to play zone, so I wouldn't even understand it.
It's actually not that hard. You
Yeah,
what where I teach it if we're in some type of matchup zone is that you still keep your man principles inside the zone. So if we matched up zone, balls all the way on the opposite side, you should be on the midline. You know what I'm saying, or underneath the basket according to where you're at in the zone. So it's still we still teach man principles out of the zone. Like you still should be in those positions, even though you're zone. You're just not following the cutter. You're just man to man with the person that's in your area.
And that's why, bro, to my point, that's why Syracuse is so good at zone because they teach it with man principles. And a lot of people, I guess my point I'm making is a lot of people when they teach zone, they don't teach it with man principles. I mean, we taught it with man principles at Lakeland. So when we did run it, we did a pretty good job with it because to Coach Point, you on head in the hoop on the on the line, head in the on the beam. We call it Lakeland on the beam, and you man you ball. So we still taught some of the stuff, but like you said, we didn't switch like we normally would do. We didn't head screens. We didn't. Sometimes we would trap it. If it's in the corner, we would trap it. But we had man principles, so it was more effective, and that's why Syracuse is so effective because they long first of all, but then they teach it from a man perspective. And so I guess my point is, like Coach said, some people teach zone and trouble ball. So when the kids come back to you, you behind. So if you're teaching zone with man principles, then they wouldn't be behind because they would still be getting the man principles out of the zone, even though they're playing zone in trouble. Because it comes sometime where you have to play zone. If you got kids in foul trouble, you still trying to play, trying to hide them. If you got a kid that's not the best man defender, but he's a pretty good offensive player, so you got to have him on the floor. So it's situations where you got to have kids out there, and the zone can hide the kid. And so in some cases, you can get away with a zone if you've taught the principles, in the right way to make it work. I guess that's kind of the point I'm making. So
Yeah,
I
I was doing it. I couldn't even try
couldn't
to like that.
participate in that part of the conversation, huh?
I can't recall ever stepping on a team that played 2-3 or 3-2. I wouldn't know what the hell to do.
Yeah.
I
I didn't.
mean,
I didn't
I
even
was like Toomer because I came up in Lake Wells and we was just at Gordon Gibbons camp since I was in sixth grade. You know what I'm saying? So all we knew was man.
yeah.
But when I became a coach, especially like when I became a girls coach and now coaching travel ball, I probably have played more zone than I want to. But it's more of a strategy type thing to give myself the best chance to win.
It's
It's
strategy.
not like I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I have to put those kids in the best position to win. I had to swallow my pride. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Me and McGriff have had
Man,
some conversations about me going to a zone. So, but it was
you
the best thing for that particular team.
coach, you know how long it took me to get Coach Collins, because he right there, he from the Haines City tree. So you know how long it took me to get Coach Collins to convince him to play a little bit of zone. Coach Collins, it was man to man or die. He
Yeah,
coach. I ain't telling you we got to come out here and do it 32 minutes because we got to steal a possession here and there. We in foul trouble, but we got to have this kid on the floor to get us a couple baskets. Or we got a kid that we know can't guard the kid that he would have to guard. We got to try to hide him. It's a strategy thing. It's possessions here and there. But coach, man, it took some seasons with an S. It took some seasons before coach even would consider playing a zone. And he finally did, and he would always, and you could see it like when we was called zone, he would be tense the whole time we was playing zone. He never was comfortable in the zone. I know I just kind of wore him down, so I didn't belabor the point. I didn't like try to make him do it more than he wanted to, but man, coach hated zone. He was a like you, I guess that's a East Polk County thing. He lived and died. We're gonna play man to man. We're gonna pick you up half, we're gonna pick you up full, we're gonna trap you. That was just his thing. So for zone, man, but we did it, and it helped us in certain cases. But he wasn't trying to hit that at all. But I used to go home laugh. I'd be in the car laughing. I call my wife, be like, man, I just sat there for 30 minutes, man. The coach sitting there listening to me, but he's sitting there like you could tell the whole body language, like, man, I ain't trying to hear this mess about no doggone zone. So I sit in the game, and he'll look at me, and I let it go. I said the game, and probably about the third year working with him, he finally probably took 3 years for coach to do it in the game, and it worked. Thank God it worked, because if it wasn't to work, we probably would have never called. He never would have signed off on zone again. But it's just funny. So it's funny you saying that. That was coach thing too. Coach was like, man, I'm not. So it used to be sometime in practice when we do it, he would back off he just would back off, and I would teach it because his thing was he was a man-to-man guy. He was a full court man. Want to state with Haines City. He know it worked. He just couldn't. And we got athletes to run man-to-man while we in the zone. And so I get it. I totally get it. But it's a strategy thing. And one of the things we trying to come out of this zone team, it's a strategy thing. To try to help us to save people, to hide people, and hide people because you can hide people with foul trouble in zone, and that was my thing. We need the guys on offense. So, but I just brought up some funny. Man, I just laughed at coach. I just laughed going home, man. Our coach wasn't trying to hit that zone at all, man. That used to be some funny stuff. All right, so last thing before we jump off, fall league started last week over at Heritage. So the results from last week, I'm gonna call the results out. Then they got 2 games. They got 2 sets of games tomorrow and Tuesday. Get y'all a quick take on who you think gonna win, and then we'll jump off. All right, because I know everybody getting ready for the game, the Sunday night game. So Santa Fe beat Zephyr Hill 71-42. Jenkins beat 40, East Bay 45-29. Auburndale beat Lake Gibson 64-42. Now, when I posted on the page, I'm not posting the team names because they can't play under their team names. We're doing it here for the sake of the show, but they've adopted different names that's not their school names because for whatever reason they can't use the school name. So tomorrow night, first game, Tenor Rock versus McKeel. Who y'all like?
Who?
McKeel.
Tenor Rock versus McKeel. Bro, that's on the schedule. You can't say it's a. I know what you're thinking. I see the old forming in your head, bro. It's on the people's schedule, man.
I like McGill. I like McGill.
You like McKeel? All right. Lakeland Christian versus Victory.
Victory.
Victor.
And then the last game of the night, Mulberry Sebring.
Oh my God.
See,
Bro, it's fall league, bro.
All
right. Tuesday night, Zephyr Hills at Jenkins. Zephyr Hills versus Jenkins, not at Jenkins. Zephyr Hills versus Jenkins.
Is that anything good?
Bro, I'm just calling out the games and the people that's in the skin that decide to play in it, man. I know you be wanting you be wanting this you be wanting the ACC Big Ten. You be wanting the Monday night. What they call it on Monday night? The what ESPN call it Big Night? Big Monday. You be wanting the Big Monday game. Everything ain't a Big Monday game, bro. I understand. We just tag you in with a Big Monday game. So me and Coach will do the other one. Zephyr Hills, Jenkins.
I'm gonna go with the county.
Yeah, I like Jenkins too.
Yeah.
East Bay, Auburndale.
Auburndale.
Yeah, Auburndale.
And then Santa Fe, Lake Gibson.
Santa Fe.
Santa Fe. I don't know if they got the other kids yet, but I know they got, Santa Fe. They might be the only team in the county right now that got all their kids because for what I understand, none of the kids playing football. So they got all their kids right now. Everybody else got at least one kid, two kids. Some people got 5 or 6 kids that's playing football. So Santa Fe is the only team that got everybody. Like I said, I could be wrong, but all the kids that they expect to play basketball are playing basketball. And I know they played this weekend over in Bartow in the little shootout that Bartow had. So, right, your body language, man. You just your body language, bro.
Man, what the other team's doing? Taking a break?
Man. But before we go, man, I know y'all know me ask y'all one question, but before I get to y'all, man, I just want to give a quick shout out, man, to my youngest son, to my baby boy, man. His team, Decay, I got, the head on. They knocked off Ohio yesterday, man. Went in Ohio. They was 28-point underdog, man. First win for them versus the FBS team in school history. So shout out to my son, CJ, and his squad. And then today, man, that was Saturday. Today, my godson, Kill, man, at the first annual, I guess they call it the East-West Classic, Polk County Classic. They got a lot of different names, but he played with the tenant on the team with the Polk County Mamas. With the Polk County Mamas, man, my baby threw the winning touchdown pass, man. They beat the 10U from the pressure 12-6, man. So shout out to Kill, man, and his guys with the big win they pulled out today. So short of other teams that I follow, the Kane and the Mamas 10U came through. So shout out to both my boys on they big wins with their teams this weekend. So gotta love it, man. Gotta love it.
Short set classic.
What you said now about the thing? I know you got something to say about that. Go ahead.
Oh, the short set classic.
Oh.
I ain't seen so many grown men in short sets, man.
Man, it was short set.
All the Chris Davis. Oh, that's somebody else. We got some in a different name. That's Chris Davis.
Is that Chris Davis from back in the day? My dog from the league.
We got to get Chris on the show, man.
Man. Shout out to the legend, man, Chris Davis, aka Lurch, aka dunk on you for just walking by him, man. Yeah, that's Chris, man. What's up, Chris, man? The game show has changed, bro, from when you was giving it to people, man. It's a whole different situation.
Hey, but listen, that short set classic could be special, man, for the county, just for the kids, man. That was a lot of people came out to see that game.
A
I
lot of
was
people.
I was impressed when it's just so hot, but I got to salute to anybody who's coaching or hanging out there from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But because I would not be at another game. It's
Oh
too.
man,
Hey,
that's not undefeated, man.
do you ref the Little League football ability?
No, I don't do football, bro.
Here now, boy,
I'm not coming out in no elements. I'm sorry.
they had to pay me 500 for sitting out there all day, and that son,
No,
that
I
ain't
can't
fair.
do it, bro.
It's shout out, man. It's like, and I appreciate that the people came out for the kids. They behaved, because that's be my thing. Don't. They got a real shot at making this a annual big deal for the kids, man. Just don't make it about the grown ups. Keep it about the kids, man. Keep it good and clean. And before
Shout
I,
out to Lee Brown, shout out to
before I
Lee
left,
Brown, Columbus, and whoever the pressure head guy is. Shout out to them too, man. They if they can put this together and do it the right way, they really got. I mean, they honestly,
got a shot, bro.
I,
They got a shot.
I saw just on the business aspect of it, that one game could pay for an entire season if they do it right. Because
They got
sponsors, they can get sponsors involved. It's so much they can do with it. They just got to take a little bit of the hood out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, take a little bit of the hood out of it.
I don't
But
know who makes.
you can't take too much of the hood out of it because that's what it is. We just keep it real.
You got
Yeah,
to be.
for sponsors, they ain't sponsors ain't gonna tap into to hood too much hood stuff. I get you on
You
that.
don't have to see it. The thing is, they don't have to see it if you got the right footage for it. You know what I'm saying? To just kind of present it. I think they got video and photos, all that. That's what the key part of it is. But I mean, just to get sponsors out there.
And
Yeah,
Were
not
they able to keep the games on time?
make sure not to have them. Make sure not to have them short sets. So they weren't able to keep the games on time. The thing is though, coach, they to me, like I was telling brothers this morning, they're never going to be on time. The only game that's going to possibly be on time is the first one because it's supposed to start at 9. But they got the first one at 9 and the second one at 10. And there's no way in the world you're gonna get that first game over in an hour and they in pass. It's not flagged. You know what I'm saying? It's a regular game. So I don't think they give enough time to that first game. So based off their start times, they're gonna always be off because that first game never takes just an hour to play. It never takes an hour to play. So
smartest move was playing that game on Sunday, bro. That
yeah,
was smart.
that was great.
That on Saturday. I'm Sunday every year. Sunday.
They got to do Sunday. It's got to be Bryant Stadium, no matter who the home team is.
Yeah.
It's got to be on Sunday at Bryant Stadium. They got a shot at making that like for the county, bro. Like East Polk, West Polk, kids was excited, grown-ups was excited. They got music going. They got a real shot. Nobody was cutting up. Nobody, misbehaved. Kids,
Honestly, they all like support each other when they ain't playing against each other.
That's what I'm saying. So it was just good. I mean, they had a nice build up on social media all week. They making songs about each other teams and memes and stuff. So it was all in good. Good. It was from a good place. Yeah. So hopefully they can build on it, man. I just shout out to the mamas and the pressure man for putting on something and coming together and doing it for the county and for the kids, most importantly for the kids and not messing it up. You know what I'm saying? They had school board people out there. They had like school board officers out there with their school board stuff on, and nobody was cutting up, man. So I took man salute y'all, man. And so hopefully they can build on, like bro saying, they can build on it, man, and make it something that's an annual thing for the kids because the kids. Other counties have this all the time, bro. It's just we never had that in Polk County, so they got a real shot. So hopefully they take advantage of it and build on it. And I was just happy that nobody didn't cut up because with us when we get together like that, it's always a chance that it's gonna be somebody cut up. So my bad, Coach Look, I didn't know that you had kids playing football and so I thought you had all your kids. So Coach said you got 4 kids playing football too, so he in the same football boat. But you're in Polk County, Florida, so. I would be surprised if you wouldn't. I just kind of thought you wasn't. So shout out. All right. So John Smith just tapped in. So we got one, we got the question for the week, if y'all got a different question, I just come up, it's the question, what's your goal for the week? It's been 2 weeks it's been on. I know y'all getting ready to have interim reports this week at school. We done been at it for like 4 weeks or whatever. What is it? What is it? Do you still work on the same goal? Goal change? Update on the goal? Just what is it? One thing. What is that you want to do to become 1% better, at least 1% better this week than you were last week? As we close out.
Um, Goals never change. You still gotta just build upon them. So I still have the same goals that we mentioned earlier. But what I'm focused on this week, it's a peace of mind. You know what I'm saying? You can't put a price on a peace of mind. So it's important to find peace in what you do at work, at home, in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Because being at peace is healthy. When you don't have peace, it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy mentally as well as physically. And being a man, especially black men, bro, we struggle, I think, with mental health and admitting to mental health issues. And so that's where I'm at this week. Just really, you know, um, a peace of mind, focused on that, and trying to stay mentally healthy.
Okay, bro.
My goal is the same, and I just want to see everything that I'm doing take one step further and just growing my organization. Do want to shout out my step team girls. They turned in their grades last week, man, and it looked like the old TBS to see all. I mean, I want to say that GPA. I thought I averaged it up for about 70 girls. It was like a 3.75 as a team.
Awesome.
And then I had my seniors, one of the alumni steppers who's a coach, man. She got with my seniors and they got a plan in place. They already like probably like 2 months ahead of where we've always been as far as preparing them to go to college. So I just want to continue to see those things grow within the organization, man. That stuff be behind the scenes. Bars you walked in and saw it. They just got plans in place that continue to put a smile on my face. And then every day be better at anything I do. You know, so,
Okay. And my thing is, I just want to continue to be more consistent, continue to be consistent in every area, be it professional, be it personal. Make sure that people that's important to me know that they're important to me. People that that are special to me, that I love. Make sure they know that I know that they know that they don't have to figure it out and worry about it. Professional level. Make sure that my staff know that, especially with all this stuff going on. With all this COVID stuff, it's a very tense and it's an emotional time because it seems like it's hitting closer and closer to people. And so I just want to make sure that they know that I'm consistently going to make sure that family comes first and that their health is most important. It's more important than a job because you can always get a job. You can't always get your health. So I just want to continue to be consistent to everybody I come in contact with to make sure that I'm intentional with they know how I feel about them and that I got their best interest at heart. And I got a couple things that the Lord done put me into, a couple positions that He done put me into, and I just want to make sure I continue to be better in those issues without without speaking on them, brother laughing because just some things you kind of fight and you just kind of he put you there and you got to do His will and you got to do what is best for that situation. And so I'm that's where I'm at. I'm just trying to be a little bit better with that each day that I was this week than I was last week. So all right, man. I see we got a sponsor. I didn't say that, but shout out to Stan the Man at Regal Kia for sponsoring tonight's show. Shout out once again to Stan the Man at Regal Kia. Yes, if you need a car, he is the guy to go see in Lakeland. He do a real good job. He help out a lot of people. He do a good job of sponsoring and supporting a lot of different organizations. So I know that's your guy too. I don't know if you got anything else you want to say before we jump off about him.
just you just hit it on. If you're looking for a car, you want somebody to take care of you the right way, trust and honesty. It's Stan the Man. He does a lot, not only for he does a lot for Polk as far as community. He's not just he's out of Auburndale, but he does stuff for a lot of nonprofit organizations. You know what I'm saying? And he's a great man. Uh, he just somebody you looking for a car. That's the person that's gonna be you go talk to. And tell him Polk Hoops Corey Tooman sent you a Polk Hoops on the referral so we can get some of that love.
Yes, sir. And today, in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tomorrow, 2 weeks from tomorrow, we will start our countdown to the season. We'll start with our uh, top 45 rankings. We'll start with our top 20 class of 25, all the rankings, team and players. We'll start to count them down. Start in 2 weeks, starting the last week of September right up to the first date of practice. So we'll put the schedule out on the page tomorrow just to let you know when we're going to start that out. So we in the lab and we still are working on that top 50. We'll put on the page this week when we think we're going to get down to. I don't know if we're going to just jump right into a top 50 or we're going to get to a top 75 and get to a 50. I don't know. We're going to do the NFL thing where we start with a preseason roster and then get to a 50-man roster. But we're gonna have some update on the top 50 this week as well. So we, in the next couple of weeks, we'll start to put more content on the page as far as how the update on those things. So y'all be on the lookout for that. All right. As always, man, we're gonna let you get off here. If you're a Rams or a Bear fan, you probably already done jumped off. But if not, we want to let you all enjoy Sunday night football. You guys that were out there supporting those kids today, man, we appreciate y'all supporting the kids, supporting the community. And we appreciate y'all supporting Polk Hoops as always, man. We appreciate the love. Appreciate y'all rocking with us. And until next time, y'all enjoy your week in school, man. Y'all be safe. Continue to be safe. Protect yourself. Whether you agree with the vaccine to get shot, whether you agree with it, just be safe. Whether you agree with face mask or sanitizer, whatever your preference is, just be safe. Take care of you, man. Take care of you. We want to see you here, man. We want to see you here with us as long as you're supposed to be here, all right? So
Billy D, you and Duje, I gave y'all one job.
Man, you act like I'm coaching.
I knew he wasn't going
like I'm coaching, bro.
I tried to get off coach without him letting you go. I knew it was coming.
Who we need to check on is these Florida State fans. That's who we need to check on. Are y'all okay?
You know what I'm saying? Are y'all okay? We okay with the game. Florida State is so toxic for me, bro. I can't. But y'all was 2 first downs away from being in the same boat. I watched both of them games, and
I understand, but I'll take an ugly win or loss to an FCS team.
Yeah.
Respect to your crew. You was one flag from the whole turnaround in the game today.
It's a good point. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Florida State is very toxic, which is why I had to take a pause from Florida State football. I'm a decaying guy until my boys.
I need them to have that same energy they have for Willie Taggart for Norvell. I need them to have that same energy.
And
that's what I need.
I don't get you shot out strict. All that you get. So you just
it's Norvell, but that's a good question though. Does Norvell get the same love? And I'm being funny, love that they gave Taggart? Because how are you not in a prevent that last play? I don't care where they get on the field. I don't get how you not in the prevent the last play. How you man to man and blitzing?
They lost on the last play.
Literally, they lost on the last play, bro. The people ran a little post route. They was in a daggone either blitz. They went in the prevent. Let me say that. I know they went in the prevent. And they gave it the last play. That's the last play, bro. No time on the clock.
I ain't gonna really talk about Florida State because it's like Florida State fans. It's just unreal, man. Well, Alabama just blew out Ohio State in that championship. They came out and blew out Miami. And our season done. Y'all back. Oh, we back. we back from a 1 point because they played Notre Dame close. And boy, y'all back all right. Y'all back being trash again. Oh, I ain't even talk about Florida State, man. I let John Smith
Strick,
climb in.
He talked about it at the beginning of the show. You wasn't on. We already talked about the Rock, man. He got on. He showed you love at the beginning of the show. You kind of
Yeah,
tapped
Man,
in
don't
late.
pay no attention to straight, man. Let's get
yeah,
off here
man.
so
We
we can
gonna
watch
get on
some
the show at
football.
8:30. Talking about can we address that?
So, okay, we
Okay.
address the issue. We address the issue from the top. Strick. We dropped. It was the first thing he did before we even got started. He said, "Let me stop. Let me go on and address this with the Rock." He paid up, Strick. He paid up on the show like he said he would. So, but yeah, FSU it's tough to be a Seminole right now. That's why I'm a Duke. I'm a Duquesne Duke right now until to further notice. I'm a Duquesne Duke and a Polk County Mamba. I guess those are my two teams right now. Them were the two boys is rocking that. So, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough in Gainesville. So I mean not Gainesville in Tallahassee. It's a big game this week with Alabama coming to Florida this week, right? Alabama coming to Gainesville. I don't know the last time Alabama came to Florida to play. That's a big boy game this week.
But I hope John Smith get on him next. I might make, I might make my own personal go live on John Smith next week.
No, man. John Smith got to come with the same energy he come with this week about trash with Florida State when Alabama play when Alabama come through next week, huh? Well, them people coming through, but them people, that's a big one there. So anyway, yeah, man, we appreciate y'all once again rocking with us, man, as always, man, and y'all be safe out there, man. Please be safe. Please protect yourself. Please be safe. Please protect yourself. And until next time, man, y'all catch us on the page. But appreciate y'all, Polk Hoops. We out, man. Y'all be safe. Y'all be out. Man, have a good week.